All right, I'm the Flat Rate Master, and today, random thoughts while I work on my wife's car. I'm gonna go change. All right, so I'm gonna get unlocked and we're gonna start messing around. Oh, and no, wearing boots, not flip-flops. Might be a little crooked. Gotta love our floors. Now I'm doing air filter, cabin air filter, transmission service. And that's fluid for a different car. And an oil change. But first, we gotta get ready. Frosty beverage. And since it's Saturday, I'm alone and there's no cars in the shop because it's Labor Day weekend. Arganosa Leaf Signature Select, by the way. Let's get to work. Yeah, I know the lighting sucks. That's why I don't film during the day. It's Sunday, so I'm not coming out here at 10 o'clock at night. Always on these canister filters, always take them out first. So the filter drains when you drain the oil, not when you're about to put fresh oil back in. I don't have the sound for sprinkling. Oh, come on. Not horrible, but I'm paying for it, so let's get a new one. Worldpac and their stupid shrink wrap. Everything we get, for the most part, is from Worldpac, and they all do this. Wrapped up tighter than a drum. Thursday night and filming, and pet peeve of mine is people blocking bays when there's parking spots available. I'm sitting there filming, somebody pulls up right to my bay. Now, if there's no parking in our parking lot, I can understand it. But there was parking available. They sat there for 10 minutes with their lights blaring into the shop, just sitting there. And I'm like, why? Two cars came in at the same time, so why were you just sitting there? Annoying, pisses me off because I'm filming and I'm trying to get done. Oh, and I always get the question about, why don't you have fans? The shop has fans. See all the fans on the ceiling? They're great. They're loud. If I had them on, even though I've got a wireless mic on, you'd have trouble hearing me. I can watch it on the camera, and a third of my audio is already taken up with fan. So I'm sweating for you guys, because otherwise I'd have the fans blowing full blast. Random thought number 2. Eric the Car Guy did a video a while ago talking about new tires. Talking about, makes a car feel all new. I gotta agree. My truck, I recently had to do tires. They're just worn out. I had one tire at about 50% because I had a rod go through it about that long. Didn't damage my rim, but destroyed the tire. And we don't do tires here. We have a tire machine and balancer, but we really don't do tires, so we're very limited on our tire supplier. And for that size of tire, I had 3 really cheapy choices. Wasn't doing those. a new Continental. Both of our service riders are from formerly Kaufman Tires, so I got one of my guys to come out here and help me choose my tires. And he's like, I'm not familiar with that tire. I can't, I can't tell you anything about it. And he just kept going back to Michelin, back to Michelin, back to Michelin. Because that was really my only choice that they had in state, other than a Uniroyal, the new Continental he wasn't familiar with, or two choices in Michelin. So put Michelin's on my truck. Ride's awesome. Does feel great. Speaking of which, my wife has Michelin's on it too. And if I don't show you on camera, yes, I will relearn TPMS. I'm going to use the Milwaukee 1 key, which I've done a video on and tested it, so I'm not manually torquing their lug nuts. I've done it on my own vehicle, so get over it. And the other thing I'm doing, oh no! Torque limited system on this tool. Not torquing it to 600 foot-pounds. All right, let's talk about these wrenches. Why I like these for doing oil changes? Leverage. If the last Luber Goober was the one messing around with it and it's like uber tight, that's a leverage. And then if it's kind of coming out hard, you have the ratcheting end to ratchet it out. But that's why I like these. Gear wrench. And don't just stand there watching the oil drain, do something. Now our lights are already checked because we went to dinner with some friends of ours the other night, and a bunch of them were in her car and I was following with another guy. So I know her tail lights work, her brake lights work, her turn signals work. And I know her headlights work because, well, it looks like her front cover oil pan are starting to leak. So I'm going to clean it up so I can look at it next time. Not a horrible leak, but a gunk accumulating. So going to keep an eye on that. The good news is the axle seal I put in last time is dry. If you haven't noticed, I haven't bought much in the way of snap-on tools. Well, my snap-on dealer is on credit hold. Has been for 2 months. Not looking good for him. I like Davey, but Snap-on is not the best tool company to be a distributor for. They tend to screw you a lot. Yeah, I mean, auto shipping stuff and stuff like that. He's on credit hold, has been for a month. I need a new switch for this light apparently. Seriously? Won't turn off. So it's kind of sucked on warranty because if he doesn't have it on the truck, he can't warranty it. Took me a month to get a twist socket warranted. Haven't had to have much else warranted, so it's been okay, but it kind of sucks when, he can't warranty anything. Let alone he has almost nothing on his truck. feel bad for him. I mean, can't even spend any money if I wanted to because there's nothing on his truck. I mean, he had a deal on these deeper impact swivels, so I went ahead and got them because he basically was selling them at his cost just to get cash flow. So I went ahead and bought them, but my Snap-on dealer is not doing well. Now, other than a little bit of oil accumulation around the oil pan front cover, she's looking good. She's going on a trip this weekend, or she's going on a trip this week. So, got to make sure it's trip ready. Brakes are okay. Suspension, steering, all that good stuff is good. I'm gonna service her transmission, put some oil in it, and I'm gonna go home. But unfortunately, I do have to wait for the transmission to continue draining. Oh, and on my, like when I did the video on my truck, servicing the transmission on my truck, people were like, "You didn't change the filter!" Well, one, it only had, what, 50,000 miles on it when I did that? Filter service is what, 100, 120? This one doesn't have a serviceable filter, so not much I can do. Drain and fill. Random thought. These are tapered plugs. Don't put them in hard. Do not. You can crack a transmission case if you put these in too hard. So don't. They just need to be snug. All right, so, it's Labor Day weekend. And I find the irony of this kind of funny because, yes, we kind of did the same thing. Why do people drop their car off when they're going out of town the day before? I've never gotten that. Even if it's just for an oil change, get it a week early, people. I mean, seriously. Don't wait till the last minute. It's a bad idea. You never know what could happen. Never. I mean, your car might have a problem that is not making it trip ready. It might not get done. So at least bring it on Monday or Tuesday. We were getting swamped with last minute trip checks. Last minute trip checks. I mean, Cole was loving it because he was getting a lot of trip checks and a lot of, maintenance and stuff like that. But we were also doing a bunch of, wheel bearings and brakes and, we had one needed a wheel bearing. They were going out of town and the hub was gonna be messed up, and it was. The only place we could get the hub was Kia. Luckily, we were able to get one because the hub was just gnarled. There was no reusing that hub. It was gold. When Daniel pulled it out, yeah, I immediately would have stopped and ordered a hub for that one if we hadn't pre-sold it. Because it was doing this, and it was a press-in hub. Speaking of which, since I'm still waiting for draining, pricing out jobs. I know a lot of shops are all about, we got to keep it as cheap as possible so we get the job. One of the worst things you can do is not price the job correctly for what you're doing. That hub job, if we hadn't priced a hub, we'd have to go back and sell them a $100 hub. Better to pre-sell high and come in under than sell low and come in high. It pisses people off. It's better for the service writer to explain, listen, it might need a hub. This is what it's going to cost. Pre-sell it. Because that way the customer knows this is what it could be. This might be what it is. It really makes a difference in how your customers see you. When they're going, this is worst case scenario, this is best case, just be prepared, it might be this. Too many shops price themselves cheap trying to get the job, and then they screw themselves because they got to go back, call the customer and go, oh, by the way, it needs this $100 part that we didn't price out because we didn't think it was going to need it, but it does. It makes you look bad. You know, if he needs the hub, you're prepared, you've got it sold. If not, customer comes in cheap. Important. Oh, and I love Scanner Danner's, on his last video, his rant about the part stores and the OBD2 dongles. In case you're wondering, I'm looking at my camera to see how much memory I have left and how much battery I have left, because this is actually the longest I've run my A6400, and I think I've only got a 64 gig card in this one right now. So, by the way, I love my A6400 camera. Love it, love it. The audio, because right now I'm using my wireless system directly into my camera. I normally go to an external mic just so I have redundancy. So if worst case scenario, I can put out a video with not great audio, but at least decent audio. But normally I record to an external recorder. This thing, the preamps in it are awesome. I would have no problem hooking my wireless system directly to this camera and doing it every week. I process my audio anyway, so it gets separated in post, but it sounds good out of this camera. I'm really impressed with Sony cameras. My camcorder is also a Sony. It gonna need to be replaced. I have it on my Joey mount over here. This one right here. And where the camera mounts is actually cracking, and you can, I don't know if you can see, but it wobbles on the mount. So I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to use this camera going forward, because it might fall off the camera. It might fall off the mount. Let me fix the mount. I know what that one little symbol meant on my A6400. It meant it was overheating. So, lost a little bit of footage on that. It's a good thing to know. Last thing I gotta do, cabin air, and I can go home. I moved my trash can, so I keep going the wrong place. Cabin was a little more dirty. All right, so thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master and Random Thoughts.